So hello everyone. In last lecture, we have seen the training versus testing as well as the cross validation. Now, training and testing for any machine learning algorithm, there are two phases: training phase and testing phase. First phase is training phase, and second phase is testing phase. So, what is the uh, training phase? So, training phase for training phase input is training data, and that input is provided to the machine learning algorithms, and machine learning algorithm along with the input training data will prepare the machine learning model, and that will be input for the second phase, that is the testing phase. Now, the second phase, as we know that the training model is machine learning model is provided to the testing phase, and input to the testing phase is test data, and with the help of test data and machine learning model, it will do the prediction. Okay, that is the training and testing, training versus testing. Next is cross validation. Now, cross validation is nothing but it is used for estimating model performance as well as improving the performance of the available training data. Now, we have seen that one method for cross validation, it is the k-fold method. K is nothing but number of folds. So, whole data is divided into the training data and testing data. And if it is now as the as seen in the diagram, that is, we have divided the data into 5 parts. So 5 number of folds are there. So specifically, we can call this as 5-fold cross validation. So for each iteration, first part of the data will be different parts of the data will be test data, and other or union of other part of the data will be the training data. So here, as we can see in the diagram, that first is the in first iteration, the whole, that is 1/4 part of the data, it is the training data, and 1/5 part of the data, it is the test data, and 4/5 part of the data, it is the training data. Okay. So same case for every iteration, but testing data is different every time. Testing data is different every time. So it is one by one part is treated as the testing data. So what will happen by using this? So each part of the data will be tested for the machine learning model. Now, in general, the k-fold cross validation works on the 10 folds. Okay. Now, here for this diagram, it is shown as the 10 folds of the data. So, training set is divided into the 10 number of folds, 10 number of parts. So, first part, again, first part, second part, third part, and up to 10th number of part, it is checked as the testing phase. It is given as input to the testing phase. Now, for each and every iteration, error is calculated, and cumulative error is calculated as generalized formula for cumulative error. It is the E is equal to 1 by K, summation of I is equal to 1 to K, E of I. Okay. And here for the specific 10-fold cross validation process, so the formula is E is equal to 1 by 10, summation of I is equal to 1 to 10, E of I. So this is the algorithm for k-fold cross validation. So we have seen this, that is cross validation and training phase and testing phase in the previous lecture. Now next, the positive and negative class. So what is positive class and what is negative class? So suppose if we take an example of classification process. So classification process, if output is divided into two number of classes, so one will be the positive class and second will be the negative class. So in simple case, we can say in simple case, that is with the two possible categories or the binary classification problem that have one boundary. So middle line here can be treated as the boundary. Middle line can be treated as boundary. So at the one side it is the positive class and at the another side it is the negative class. So binary classification is nothing but it has the two possible categories. Okay, one is positive category and second is the negative category. Now, if training or evaluating, suppose we consider an example of binary classification. Now, if we want to decide whether the email is spam or not, so when email is spam, that is treated as positive class, and if email is not spam, emails are not spam, it is treated as the negative class. Okay, and in case of multiple classification, now what do you mean by multiple classifications? If we take an example of same example of email is spam or not, so email can be categorized as the um, spam mail, then primary mail, then group mail. So if three categories are there, that means there is a more than two categories. So it is called as a multiple classification. Now in case of multiple classification, what is positive class and what is negative class? So email is spam, it is treated as positive class, and other two mails, that is whether it is a primary mail or group mail, it is treated as the negative class. Next, that means positive and negative class is nothing but the result or the target variable where when we find the result positive, it is treated as it is treated as a positive class, and all the other results are treated as the negative class. Okay. Then the next, that is the ingredients of the machine learning. So what is the input to the machine learning algorithm? What will be the output and how machine learning algorithm will decide the output? So right features to build the right models that achieves the right task. So input is features and processing is done with the help of task, and whatever the prediction, that is right task, are the output. Okay. Now features are nothing but, so as shown in the diagram, features are the input. Okay, and it is provided to the model, and then machine learning algorithm with the help of training data will provide us the correct output. So correct output is nothing but the task. Okay, now for example, features. Now features define the language in which relevant objects are defined in a particular domain. That means what? Suppose car object is there. So car object can have features, model number, manufacturing year, run kilometers, etc. So these are the features of the car objects. Okay. Then what is task? So task is the abstract representation of a problem we want to solve regarding those domain objects. Now, in this car example, what is the task? That is to decide the price of used car. And with the help of the machine learning algorithm and the training data, it will decide the machine learning model will decide the output. What will be the price of the used car? Now, what is machine learning task? Machine learning task is nothing but an abstract representation of a problem what we want to solve. So the problems can be solved with machine learning is generally defined by the task. So whatever the problem statement is there to solve with the help of machine learning, it is called as a machine learning task. Now task is been divided into two broad categories, that is supervised learning and unsupervised learning. So supervised learning means what? Data grouping of data with prior information is known as the supervised learning, and the task of finding out hidden structure from the given data, it is known as unsupervised learning. Other categories are predictive model and descriptive model. Now predictive model specifically involves the target variable, and the model tries to predict a value x using other values in the dataset. For example, it tries to predict if loan is approved or not, or whether an email is spam or not. And the next, that is the descriptive model. So descriptive model, it tries to find the structure of data in novel and interesting way. Now, what is an example of descriptive model? That is group of people having their interest in singing, then dancing, crafts, etc. That means it detects or recognizes a pattern, particular pattern. Okay. Then the categories of machine learning tasks are, we have seen the two models are there, predictive and descriptive model, and supervised and unsupervised learning. So supervised learning with the predictive model has classification and regression. Supervised learning with descriptive model has subgroup and subgroup discovery. Unsupervised learning with predictive model, it is the predictive clustering. It is done with the help of predictive clustering. Then unsupervised learning with the descriptive model is descriptive clustering, association rule. Now what is predictive task? We have seen the two methods and two models. First one is methods are supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Models are predictive and descriptive. Now what is predictive task? So predictive task has categories are binary classification, multi-class classification, regression and clustering. So binary classification, that means the classification of the given instances into two groups on the basis of their classification rules. Okay. Specifically, there are two groups as this is the binary classification. As this is the binary classification. Either 0 or 1. That means two groups are there. Whether the output is correct or not. If it is correct, it is 1. If it is not correct, it is 0. So only two classes are there. In case of email spam, whether it is email spam or not, if it is email spam, it is treated as 1. If it is not spam, it is treated as 0. That is called as a binary classification. Now, multi-class classification. Multi-class classification has classification of the instances into more than two groups. If it is into two groups, it is called as a binary classification. If it is more than two groups, it is called as a multi-class classification. Okay. For example, we are deciding the email category as spam or private mail or work related mail. That means classification is done into more than two categories: spam mail, private mail, and work related mail. Then the next one is the regression. We have seen previously also the regression. Regression means the whatever the target variable or output is in the form of number. It is called as a regression. So in case of email only, we can give an example of randomly selecting and mail email from the inbox and label it on the urgency score 0 to 1. Work related email are labeled with priority 1.1 and so on. So priority wise urgency score is given for emails. It is called as a regression because here output is in the form of numbers. So it is called as a regression. Then the clustering. Many of you are familiar with the clustering. So clustering is nothing but it is task of grouping data with prior information is known as clustering. So the typical clustering works by measuring the similarities between the given instances, putting similar instances into the same cluster and dissimilar instances into the different clusters. That means now in case of email only, spam mails will be grouped. Grouping of spam mails will be done in one group. Then second group will be there for private mail and third group will be there for work related mail. So these three groups are nothing but the clusters. These three groups are nothing but the clusters. Why? Because they are similar to each other. And spam mail and private mail are different. So they are categorized or divided into different clusters. They are divided into different clusters. Then the descriptive task. Descriptive task is can be identified with the subgroup discovery, then association rule discovery, and descriptive clustering. Now, first one, that is subgroup discovery. So in subgroup discovery, the data set is given with the instances and some attribute of the instances. Okay, that means if we take an example of line of code of a particular program, then if line of code is greater than 100 and complexity is greater than 4, then code is defective. That means whatever the relations are there, they are generally represented through the rules. So this is one of the rule in the subgroup discovery, that is whether the code is defective or not. So if line of code is greater than 100 and complexity is greater than 4, then the code is defective. Then the next one, that is association rule discovery. Now association rules are nothing but finding the association between the two item sets. Okay. So it is useful for discovering the interesting relationship that is given in the large data set. So the relationship can be represented in the form of relationship among the large data set can be represented in the form of association rules or frequent item sets. So take an example of market basket analysis. Considering the association rule of two item sets are in the form of X and Y. So X is associated with Y. For example, bread and milk, these two things are associated. That means the person who has purchased bread also purchased milk. Next is the descriptive clustering. So in descriptive clustering, the exemplars are not used. Okay. Now this is all related to, we have seen now up to this positive and negative class. Then the next one, the ingredients of machine learning. So ingredients are features, then task and learning model. Okay. Then the machine learning tasks are having two broad categories, that is supervised and unsupervised learning, and predictive model and the descriptive model. Okay. And predictive task has binary classification, multi-class classification, regression and clustering. So as descriptive task has subgroup discovery, then association rule discovery and descriptive clustering. Now we have seen up to this the first part of the first unit, that is what is machine learning, examples of machine learning applications, training versus testing, positive and negative class, and cross validation. Now we are going to see the second part of the this unit, that is types of learning, supervised, unsupervised and semi-supervised learning. Now first one is the supervised learning. Now already we know that what is actually supervised learning. We can define the supervised learning as the task of grouping data with prior information in terms of label training data. That means in case of supervised learning, along with the input, there is label data is also provided. In training data, each instance is a pair of input object, a desired output value. And supervised learning is to have input variables X, output variable Y, and an algorithm to learn mapping function from the input to the output. So the function is, mapping function is Y is equal to Fx. So supervised learning analyze the training data and produce infer function which can be used to map the new examples. Now here, as I said earlier, told to you earlier, that is, it has two inputs. So first one is the training text documents, or we can simply say it as training data along with the feature vectors. And the labels are also provided. Labels are also provided, which will form together the machine learning algorithm. And when new text or new data, new test data comes for the machine learning algorithm, so feature vectors are selected And along with the machine learning algorithm, predictive model is used and expected labels are provided to the testing data. Expected labels are provided to the testing data. That means here machine learning input is training test, documents, images, etc. That means it is nothing but the training data. Next is the along with the training data, feature vectors are calculated and it will given as input to the machine learning algorithm, as well as labels are provided how we are going to categorize the uh, training data. Now, learning algorithm with the training data is tested, and when the new data comes to the algorithm, vectors are calculated, and from that feature vectors, along with the machine learning algorithm, predictive model is designed, and we will get the expected label. Okay. So supervised learning task is divided into two, that is classification and regression. Again, as we have seen that classification can be binary classification or it is the multi-class classification. So classification is when classification problem is when the output variable is a category such as red or blue, disease or no disease. So if output variable is a category, it is called as a classification. Then the regression. Regression problem is when the output variable is a real value such as dollars or weight, or as we have seen in the previous example, price of the car. If price of the car is there, it is the price of the car is nothing but the number. It is treated as the regression. Then the next one is unsupervised learning. So unsupervised learning is in machine learning task of unsupervised learning is that of trying to find the hidden structure in unlabeled data. So training data is unlabeled. So that's why there are no error or reward signal to evaluate the partial solution. In case of unsupervised learning, it is to have the input data X and no corresponding output variable is there. Only the input data is provided with no labels. That means training data is unlabeled data. So the goal of unsupervised learning is to model the underlying structure or distribution in the data in order to learn more about the data. So these are called the unsupervised learning because unlike supervised learning, there is no correct answer and there is a no teacher. That means you can identify the difference between diagrams of figures of supervised learning and unsupervised learning also. In case of supervised learning, along with the training data, there are labels are provided. In case of unsupervised learning, no labels are provided. No labels are provided. Only the training data, and that data is also unlabeled data that is provided to the machine learning algorithm. And as uh, as in case of supervised learning also, there is a test data is provided along with feature vector and machine learning algorithm. Predictive model is designed and it will predict the data. Okay. It is the unsupervised learning. Now, unsupervised learning task is done with the help of clustering and association. Clustering is a problem where you want to discover the inherent groupings in the data, such as grouping customers by purchasing behavior. Association rule, that means we have to discover the rules, such as people that buy X also tend to buy Y. So as we have taken the example of milk and butter. So milk, the people who buys the milk also buy the butter. That is the association rule. Okay. Then the next, that is semi-supervised learning task. In case of semi-supervised learning task, large amount of input data is there and only the sum of the data is labeled. Origin in between both supervised and unsupervised learning. Now an example of semi-supervised learning is the photo archive, where only some of the images are labeled and the majority are unlabeled. So when we are considering labeled data, it is expensive or time consuming, and unlabeled data is cheap and easy to collect and store. One can use unsupervised learning techniques to discover and learn the structure in the input variables, and supervised learning techniques to make best guess predictions for the unlabeled data. Now we can say as semi-supervised learning is the combination of supervised and unsupervised learning.